This is the iPhone 7. According to Apple, it's the best phone that they've ever made. And you'd hope so, because while Apple have been working on the new addition to their hardware lineup, its closest competitor has been gaining a lot of steam. The iPhone 7's is a familiar design because it's practically that of the iPhone 6 and 6S. It comes in 2 different sizes, 5 different colours, and a selection of options for storage. It's a risky card for the company to play, with their competitors making such strides in areas that Apple previously led unopposed. While the company is still credited with designing the best hardware in the business, Samsung's Galaxy Note 7 has exceeded Apple in giving more screen real estate in a smaller, arguably more polished design than the iPhone 7 Plus. And while the 7 Plus's new dual camera hardware and software may put it a hair ahead of Samsung's phones, it's not the substantial lead once had over the Korean company. So, with its competitors' game as strong as ever, and the market's appetite for new hardware waning in an age where all phones look practically the same, Apple is not in a position to be complacent. With no new design and the most significant changes being made to the iPhone on the inside, it seems like a very ballsy move for the company to take away the headphone jack. It's all part of Apple's culture of moving markets forward. They did the same thing back in the 80s, 90s and the 2000s, taking away the floppy disk drive in preparation for the CD, then the CD drive to push people into the cloud, and now they're taking away the headphone jack on the phone to push people towards the wireless alternative, their AirPods, which will be released later this year. People are always a bit pissed off at first, but eventually the market catches up. In a few years, we'll probably wonder how the headphone jack stayed around for so long. But it's still a risky moment for Apple to make a move like this. So, what is actually positive about the iPhone 7? Well, it's faster, it has stereo speakers, the smaller iPhone now has optical image stabilization, which was previously only available on the Plus model. Speaking of the Plus, it's got a second camera, which will allow you to shoot things like this with that beautiful clear background. There are 2 new colors, black and jet black. It's waterproof, its screen will apparently be cheaper to replace, and both phones have longer battery life, probably the most important improvement of all. There are other things that you'll notice less, like the home button not actually clicking but giving you taptic feedback. The screen is meant to have better color, and those ugly antenna lines have moved, becoming a lot less noticeable on the black models of the phone. So, should you buy it? Well, unless you're upgrading from a 4S or a 5S or maybe even a 6, I don't think you should. If you're after a significant design upgrade, there are many reports that suggest next year's model will be a big one. Plus, next year the iPhone turns 10, so it's reasonable to assume they're saving their best for then. But the funny thing is that, as always, a lot of you will just buy this phone anyway. And that's because Apple have trained us to want something new from them each year. And because, well, you know, it's the best iPhone ever. Or at least the best one we'll get this year.